Hello guys, welcome back to First Sight of Anything. We return to the 1980s with Duran Rio from 1982. Absolute killer album this is. You know, if anyone thinks of the 1980s, think of 1982, they think of Rio by Duran. Absolutely. You can think of any other artists, of course. You think, what sums up 1982? Then you probably think of any other album, really. But this album sort of tops the cake, really. In terms of, it's popular, very well received at the time. It's going to be the mega album, really, of course, down to its Nagel artwork, Playboyish Nagel artwork, to the actual the songs themselves, just really good. Because I grew up with Duran many years ago. First time was the greatest, I think, from 97, 98 I had at the time, and it was again really good compilation, of course, great songs. My mum was a Duranie herself. She was a fan of Duran at the time, from 1981 to 1985, as you do with many people, of course. So they were fans, they adored Duran. So yeah, I could tell why they're so popular in the household still. So this is the only album I've ever got, really, of Duran, really. I do actually have others, but in terms of vinyl, this is the only one I've got, really. It's just a spare copy that I picked up from my local record store, from 151 Records, of course. And overall, it's just a good album, really. Down to the hits, of course, you've got the title track Rio, which is, again, really good, with the video of them in, like, smart suits and going across a yacht, of course, in Antigua. Absolutely. You've got Hungry Like the Wolf, as well, in Sri Lanka, doing, like, variations of Raiders of the Lost Ark and Apocalypse Now, all that type of stuff, down to a interesting backbeat. You've got Save a Prayer, the mellow, gentle ballad, of course, and yes, it's still a good one. It's still a very, like, whole, pour lighter in the air and wave, of course. It's still a good song, that is, And then you got the closer chat, the Chauffeur, as well, something different, very electronic as well, interesting stuff as well. You see the band experiment and everything else. It really does something interesting down to it. And also visually as well. Like at this point, you got the MTV generation came, and Duran were amidst it. They were amidst the other ones. They were on top form in terms of videos. So the 80s have arrived. Songs for me, I'd probably say there's some personal favourite songs I love, actually, of this album. The second track, My Own Way, which is the first single from the album, of course. I think it was released, like, in the back half of 81. I much prefer the album version of this. It's very, very funky, very meaty, and it's really good. Fantastic. So I prefer the album version of My Own Way. Really good. Brilliant song, indeed. There are many other versions, like the night version, the single edit, and they're okay. A bit more popish, a bit more faster. This is a bit more meatier. That album version is more meatier to enjoy and endorse. Really good. New Religion, fantastic, great. You got a funky rhythm section. John Taylor, Roger Taylor doing this funky rhythm section. You got Andy Taylor doing this, like, David Gilmour guitar work on it. Fabulous. And Nick Rose's keyboards. Really good. And double tracking, like, double vocals from Sam Le Bon. Bloody Nora. Jeez, that's good. Again, live versions are good. There's some fantastic live versions from, like, 1987, 88. Really good stuff, of course. Because you've got an added home section, percussionist, very sort of in-your-face live versions of that on that. So it's definitely worth checking out. Live version from the Notorious tour, or Working with the Skin Trade, whatever they call it. That's worth checking out. And for one other one, I could probably say, like, Hold Back the Rain. Again, another good one. Very on beat, very fast, very just, like, it keeps going on, it keeps charging. It builds up momentum. Again, it still keeps as well. Really good stuff. Really good song that is. So I can probably say those ones are my absolute favourites from the album. You can also have, like, you can think of, like, Lonely in Your Nightmare, or Last Chance the Stairway. They could be like, they could be sort of like the forgotten gems. I think from front to back, this album is just great. It doesn't get boring at all. You just sail through the songs. It works. It does. If you love this album, comment down below. Thank you guys for watching. I've been talking about Rio from Duran 1982. See you guys.